Football is the game. It's the Friday soccer paycheck. We've been off for a couple of weeks, but we finally have matches this weekend. Hopefully we can win some money. Football is the game. As the Chelsea fans bring us in on the Friday soccer paycheck, I am Stephen Murray. This is America's only podcast on the English Premier League and the English Championship. Click and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Deep End Broadcasting, as we come to you every match weekend here with the Friday soccer paycheck. As the Chelsea fans bring us in. Apparently the Chelsea players hate each other. The fans hate the players. The players hate the coach. I thought that team was doing so well for a good portion of the season. And then I started to hear some inside rumors here the last few weeks, and this is the longest drought I think I've seen between match weekends. With all these other tournaments and World Cup qualifying or friendlies or whatever they're doing, Champions League, European soccer tournaments. I mean, it's so hard to keep track of. But finally, we're back into our Premier League and championship slate, where the championship did play last Friday. It was a moot point to even do a show since we would have been on after the games, but then they had a sneak attack slate of games on Monday as well. So, I don't know. Let's just say I'll be glad we didn't have any picks for it, as most of these games have been bogged down for the most part, even with nicer weather stretching across the UK, which I hope we have this weekend. I'm going to be honest here. We haven't done a latest weather report, but let's see what we have for London coming up here. Weather in London this weekend, as that will be our central location, and then we can kind of spread it around from there. It looks like Saturday, 55 degrees, partly cloudy. Sunday, 59 degrees, mostly sunny. Manchester, maybe with a little bit of rain. Nothing to be concerned about. I think the cold is what we're trying to avoid here in terms of trying to get some goals, and warm weather seems to be pretty much dominant for these leagues this weekend. So when we have warm weather, we have likely to have more scoring. And that's what we want here in both of these circumstances of trying to dissect the slate of the Premier League and the championship. Now, here's where it's tough, is we haven't played in about a month, right? So trying to figure out the form that these teams are in is going to be a little bit rough. I mean, Liverpool looked like they were one of the better teams here about a month ago, but all they've been doing is getting destroyed in Champions League and raked against the coals. Everyone hates Chelsea now. We thought they were a good team. We have a relegation battle of epic proportion. I mean, Tottenham could be relegated, which is insane to think. I think the odds on that preseason were something like 500 to 1. So we have all kinds of interesting stuff pertaining to these two leagues. And we're just going to try to grab some wins here more than anything. So we're coming in fresh. We haven't really looked at the slate too much. We're going to try to just go with our first instincts. We'll play it maybe a little conservative just because, like I said, we haven't played in about a month. So we need to try to not get too frisky, not try to get over our heads a little bit, and let's see what we can figure out for a win. We do have two games going on, one in each league. In the championship, we have West Brom, who's been decently better here the last few weeks. hosting Millwall, who once climbed all the way up to the number 2 spot before they relinquished that last Monday, I believe, right back to Middlesbrough. 0-0 is actually, I think they're tied. We'll see here in a minute with the table once we get there. But 0-0 right now with West Brom and Millwall. And then over in the Premier League, we have West Ham hosting the Wolves. Let's see what we have for a score. 1-2-0 at halftime in favor of West Ham. Your live line minus 350 on West Ham, plus 950 if you think the Wolves can come back and win this game, plus 390 on the draw. So you're updated on the games. Bye, Karen.
Hi.
We just finished our sizzling. So you want to talk some soccer, Karen? You want to?
I wish I could. I'd love to hang out with you guys, but I just feel like, duh.
That's how I feel trying to look at this, to be honest. So, I don't think I want to jump back in on the Wolves and West Ham at this point myself. So we'll pass on all that. We'll try to keep you updated on the scores. I think West Ham can get to 2 goals, right? So over 1.5 would have been one of the better plays maybe for that. Okay, let's take the table first. So we'll bring up our EPL table. And let's just kind of see where we sit now after being off for what seems like a month. Wow, we haven't done a show in exactly a month, right? We missed the last 3 weeks because we haven't had games. Crazy. Not even the table wants to load at this point because they don't know what they have to say as far as the standings go. We know Arsenal is on the top, right? So they are in first place. Come on, table. Do me right here. Okay, we might have to go to this. All right, here we go. I was going to say we have to find the auxiliary table. West Ham is on top. Let's see. How many games have we played here? We played 31 games. So we have 7 left for Arsenal. They are 21-3-7 with 70 points. That is 9 points clear of Man City. So Arsenal's in pretty good shape. Man City is in number 2. Manchester United rebounded quite nice after being one of the punching bags of everybody, really, from manager to team performance by their own fan base, by other fan bases, by the media. That has been a pile on Manchester United and just let them know how bad they are every second of their life. But here they are in 3rd place, 55 points, 1 point ahead of Aston Villa in the 4th, and Liverpool right there with 49. So do we get – well, I think we get up to maybe 9 slots of European soccer. I think just the top 4 for Champions League this year. I could be wrong. There could be a 5th team. If that is the case, then Liverpool at 49, Chelsea at 48, Brentford 46. They've been the draw masters. Everton at 46. That's been one of the nicer surprises of the season, I must say, is Everton being up in the 8th spot. Fulham at 9, Brighton at 10. And your hot teams in the top 10 would be right now Brighton winning 4 out of 5. Fulham has won 3 out of 5. And they kind of cooled down, right? And some of these are going to count for like Carabao Cup and stuff like that. So they do count in the recent form. Everton, 3 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws in a row for Brentford. Chelsea has lost 3 of 4. Liverpool has lost 2 of 3. Aston Villa had a 3-game losing streak before winning their last time out. So a lot of inconsistency there in the top 10. Man City, 2 draws in a row for them. Okay, now let's take a look from 11 on down and the relegation scenario in which we're facing. Because everyone's in it right now. In fact, oh man, this is crazy. This really is nuts. Sunderland safe at 43 points. Newcastle safe at 42. Bournemouth. Newcastle's better than the 12th team. I mean, you really figured out they are. Bournemouth safe at 42. Crystal Palace starting to get a little sketchy here because you get 3 points to win. Crystal Palace with 8 matches left. 39 points for them. Leeds with 33. Nottingham Forest with 32. This is the sketch area, starting with Leeds at 33. West Ham safe at 32. And then if we were to, and winning, so they're bound to get to 35, which would be a nice jump for them. But down in the relegation zone, Nottingham with 30 would be relegated right now. Losers of 4 out of 5. Burnley has lost 3 out of 5, 20 points. And the Wolves, they've fought for years here, it seems like, to stay up. Looks like they're definitely going down at this point. 17, especially if they lose today. Just 17 points for them. The Wolves will be in the championship. Wow, that's kind of sad. You got to give Sunderland credit at the number 11 spot, right? That's a team that, there's a documentary about Sunderland and their fall from glory from the EPL down to the championship, down the League One, almost to League Two, new ownership, new life, and they've slowly crawled their way all the way back to the EPL, and they're going to stay. They're not going to get booted right back down. They're going to stay. So good job to Sunderland, really, to rebound there and give that fan base really something to root about. Okay, so that's where we stand with the table. And Nottingham, I mean, geez, Nottingham is just, it's unbelievable, right? That they would get relegated. That would be maybe the most shocking relegation of all time. At least it definitely isn't the soccer that I've been following. But in terms of the history of the league, that would be one of them. Let's take a look at the injuries real quick as well. Let's see if I can pull those up. As we are a little slow today. Bournemouth with 6 players hurt. No one to really write home about. Let's see. Arsenal missing Eze. No, he passed his test. He's available, 100% available. Yep. Bukayo Saka is a 50% chance for Arsenal, so missing him. Let's see. Missing Jadon Sancho and Boubacar Kamara. So a couple of nice players for them. Brentford, a 6-pack of players injured for them. Let's see. Cavallo's one of them. Rico Henry out. All right. Brighton, Lewis Dunk would be the most notable for them. Out. Burnley, 8 players hurt. All right. So that's not good for them. Chelsea, 8 players hurt. Reece James, always hurt. You feel Modric, Enzo Fernandez. All right, all players not available for Chelsea. Crystal Palace, relatively healthy, except Edward Nketiah hurt. Decore likely out as well. So a couple key players there. Jack Grealish out for Everton. Fulham, relatively healthy. Nothing to write home about there. Leeds, a 6-pack of injuries. Daniel James would maybe be the most notable there. Liverpool, relatively healthy. John Stones and Ravdiol and Ruben Diaz are all likely not to play for Man City. Manchester United, Harry Maguire, suspended Harry Maguire. Bad Harry. Let's see. Fabian Schär for Newcastle would be a notable name there, but they're relatively healthy. Nottingham Forest missing Cunha. They're missing a few players. Not that bad, though. Sunderland missing Traore. 7 players total for them. Tottenham continues to be completely hurt. Kovalevsky, no James Madison, no Bentancur, no Ben Davies. So basically, Pape Sarr, I think we'll see him maybe. Mohamed Kudus out. So a lot of guys still continuing to be out for Tottenham. Missing today for West Ham, I believe, is Somerville. I don't think he's in the lineup. I'd have to double check that. And Fabianski as well for West Ham. All right, so those are your notable injuries. Let's take a look at the slate. And I'm going to be honest, if I don't like the game, we're passing real fast on it. But let's see if we can find 1 or 2 diamonds in the rough, and we will try to focus on goals. We are now into the 46th minute. West Ham 1, Wolves 0. First game on Saturday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Arsenal and Bournemouth. I heard a case made for Bournemouth to be able to score a goal or two because they've done so before against Arsenal. I don't know. I'm not trying to wake up at the crack of dawn and try to get 5 goals here with Arsenal and Bournemouth. I don't like the fact that there is no Saka. Arsenal has not been a team that bludgeons you to death. They are the best team, but they win 2-0, 1-0. There's no 5-0s happening. Bournemouth, safe, but nice. They can play some defense as well. I think just a no play for me at the end of the day. Brighton has been nice here. Now, mine is 145 at Burnley. If Burnley does one thing well, they play defense. They're plus 370 at home. They're going to be relegated. Brighton has as good a form as anybody. So I think if you want to take Brighton at over 1.5 team goals, I think that's fair. If you want to just take them at minus 145, I think that's fair too. You'd rather have them at home, maybe, right? So that's that. They're on the road here. But if you want them to get to over 1.5 goals, it's minus 148. So pick your poison on that. Either minus 145 for the game line or Brighton minus 148 to get to 2 goals. Is it a super strong play? Not really. Brentford and Everton. Now, Everton's been nice, but Brentford's a good home team too. All right, so this sounds like an under to me. 2 teams trying to just fight it out. Neither one has much to play for either. So could you just see them going through the motions here? I could. Brentford plus 110, plus 260 for Everton. The draw at plus 230 might be the way to go. But again, if you're going to play the draw, you always want to play the correct score in my book because you can play 0-0 at 10-1. You can play 1-1 at plus 550. And you can play plus 2-2 at 13-1. I doubt you're going to get 3-3. So at worst case, if you play the draw with the correct score and it ends up being 1-1, you're going to get plus 350 on that number instead of plus 230 on the draw if you were to bet it on the 3-way money line. And you're bound to get 10-1 or 8-1 really after the losers pay out. Much better payout at 0-0 and even at 2-2. I mean, you're going to get 11-1 when things are all said and done. So if you're looking to play draws, play correct scores. 0-0, 1-1, 2-2. The payout is just better. Liverpool. They host Fulham. I've heard a big case for Fulham here because Liverpool's been so shabby lately. I'm going to be reluctant there. I'm not going to jump on the Fulham bandwagon, and they've been my team too as well. Plus 390 for Fulham. their goals. I'm almost going to take the approach of let's watch and see what happens this week, and then try to build momentum for the rest of the season with our picks. So it really is going to be kind of a pick your poison type of dealio. And sorry if we're not going to give you a bunch of picks. It is nice weather, though, so maybe overs do come into play. This is a game that could profile to like an over 3.5. But the away team here, Fulham, to score twice is going to be at, let's see here. There's a away team first half. Why do we just have the, because I'm on the half. That's why. The away team over 1.5 goals. Fulham plus 196 for 2 goals by Fulham. So not the worst thing in the world, but they are at Liverpool. I'm going to kind of lay off here. Sunderland at home against Tottenham. Now, this is a Sunday game, so we only have what? We have this Arsenal, 7:30 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. We have 10 o'clock Eastern, 2 games, the Burnley, Brighton, Brentford, Everton, and then Fulham, Liverpool at 12:30 p.m. So Sunday, 9 o'clock a.m., 3 games, Sunderland and Tottenham, and plus 165 on Sunderland at home here. I think they're to pick. 1-0, 2-2, right? Maybe Sunderland over goals, 1.5 is going to be the risky play here. This could be 1-1 game as well. Tottenham fighting for their life. You got to think that they got to come out with some kind of huge effort where they're not going to be pushed over. Plus 144 by Sunderland. It's not like the Sunderland's in the greatest form either. I just gave them all their praises for finishing where they're at and that part of the table. Tottenham is due. Again, they're a wounded animal fighting for their life. I just think this is maybe a no play. Honestly, I feel like these games, even with the nice weather, all feel like under games. And maybe that's the angle I'll try to take. Crystal Palace and Newcastle. Palace is plus 210. Newcastle plus 125. Newcastle is the better team here. Now, they've been their own worst enemy, I swear, when they were on the field. It's like they beat themselves. So, do I trust them at Crystal Palace? Probably. I think they probably get away with a win here. I think, honestly, this is probably the safest play I've seen so far. Give me the 2 goals for Newcastle. Even money. Plus 100. Okay, so that's the best bet I see. Aston Villa at Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa they play down to their opponents. They really do. I mean, there's just the cutting edge. Play like a viper, play like a constrictor. You just don't see it with these EPL teams this year. A lot of mediocrity. So not Nottingham Forest. I mean, this line is as even as it gets. Plus 170, Villa plus 165. I'm not taking Nottingham Forest. I'll tell you that. I think Villa to get 2 goals is possible here. I mean, they're coming off at least a win and this extended break. You're getting plus 142 for Aston Villa. Let's see if we can build a ticket. Newcastle, Aston Villa. Again, we're taking 2 road teams to get 2 goals each, which isn't necessarily the best recipe in the world either. You always want to try to take the home team. You feel like they're the ones who do better at scoring. So we'll get plus 384 for Villa and Newcastle to get the 2 goals each. 11:30 Sunday, Chelsea host Man City. Chelsea plus 210. Man City is at plus 110. I guess we got to go Man City, but I would not doubt if this is a 1-0 game. And Chelsea plays good enough defense to kind of bog this game down a little bit. You would think that this would be a higher scoring game, right? The way Chelsea's been able to score goals, they've been one of the better scoring teams. At Man City traditionally is. It might not show that much in the stats, although they are, as far as the table is concerned, one of the better scoring teams this year, right? So they have, let's see if we can take a look at this. Back to my table. Man City has scored 60 goals. Chelsea have scored 53. Man City has allowed 28. Chelsea has allowed 38. So this game does kind of make sense for an over. Maybe just over 2.5. So we don't need to get super crazy here. Just because of the weather, man. And these games feel like under games. Maybe that's why you play them all blindly over, right? I don't know. Pick your poison here. And how you want to play things. Nicer weather. You would think you'd get scoring to some of these games. I mean, I guess we could get scoring at Tottenham and Sunderland, right? Fulham and Liverpool. Everton and Brentford, I guess. But safe play, I think, over 2.5 with Chelsea and Man City. We'll go ahead and say that. Let's see here. So if we put that in the parlay with Newcastle to get 2 and Aston Villa to get 2. Now we're going to add Chelsea, Man City over 2.5 at minus 192. Then this little 3-game parlay pays plus 636, which is better than standard odds for a 3-game parlay. So we're not going to bitch about that too much. Last game, Monday, Man United and Leeds. Man United minus 170, Leeds plus 420. We'll lean with Man United to win that game 2-1, 1-0, 2-0, something like that. We do have games again next weekend. Let's just see if the slate's a little bit better. Brentford, Fulham, Leeds, Wolves, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Tottenham, Brighton, Chelsea, Man U, Everton, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Sunderland, Nottingham Forest, Burnley, Man City, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, West Ham. The mediocrity of this league, it's just, the luster just doesn't seem to be there, does it? Not to me. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, though. And I don't want to rip these teams and their fan bases for boring soccer, which what I feel like we're going to get here coming up. All right, let's take a look at the championship. Can we do better here? Loading up the table. Coventry is at the top. Yeah, we have all kinds of movement here. Coventry at the top with 84 points. Let's see, 7 games left to play. They're 11 points clear of Millwall, who is in second place, and they're drawing right now. So if that were to end, I mean, there's still time to catch Coventry. They can't clinch automatic promotion quite yet, but they're getting closer. And they play Sheffield Wednesday, the worst team. So you figure that's going to be a layup, right? We'll talk about that in a minute. But Coventry, 84 points in first. Second spot is a 3-team battle for right now. Really 4 or 5. I mean, Hull and Southampton aren't necessarily out of it. 73 for Millwall. Number 2 is an automatic promotion. And then 3 through 6 play a playoff. Right now, your third would be Ipswich. They have 2 wins and 3 draws in their last 5. Fourth is Middlesbrough. They've been spiraling a little bit. 3 draws, 2 losses. Hull, 2 draws in a row. Win-loss win for them, 68 points in 5th. Southampton is your hot team. 4 wins in a row and a draw, 66 points for them. So theoretically, they could jump Hull and be in that 5th spot. And Middlesbrough, if they struggle, continue to struggle, and Ipswich, and Millwall draws it out. I mean, Southampton really could be within 4 points of second place here come the end of the weekend. So we'll pay attention to that. Wrexham is on the outside looking in right now with 64. Then Derby, who's been nice. 3 wins in their last 5, 3 out of 4, really. 63 points for Derby. Norwich making a charge. 3 wins and a draw in their last 5. Watford, inconsistent, 57 points for them. Bristol City, 2 wins in a row, 57 for them. Can either of these teams make a charge towards the top 3 through 6 spots? Queens Park Rangers, 3 wins and a draw in their last 4. 13th spot, Stoke, 54. Preston, 54. Swansea, 54. This is where we start to drop off. Birmingham, 53. Sheffield United, 53. Charlton, 49. Blackburn, 47. 46 points for West Brom. Your safe spot right now is with Portsmouth at 42 points. They have 3 losses and 2 draws in their last 5. And then in relegation right now, Leicester overcoming point deductions, 41 points. Oxford, 41 points. Sheffield Wednesday, -5. So still a lot to be determined in terms of relegation. You would think that if you're Charlton at 49, you have a couple of draws in your last 4. You need to probably find a win or 2. Sheffield United has been struggling. Losers are 3 out of 5. Wow. And 2 draws. Birmingham has lost 3 in a row. So these teams are trying their best to keep the teams below them in the table in terms of avoiding relegation. But right now, Portsmouth would be your safe spot at 42. Leicester in the danger zone, 41 with Oxford. Sheffield Wednesday can forget about it. 0-0 West Brom and Millwall. Okay, tomorrow morning, Ipswich and Norwich. Good game. Plus 185 for Norwich, who can play up to these opponents above them. They showed that last week with a win against Millwall on the road. They'll be home here against Ipswich, who has been slightly inconsistent, right? Lately, Ipswich. Yeah, I mean, they got 3 draws and 2 wins. They haven't lost, but they've been playing close to the vest here. Let's see. About the same, really, in terms of how about this? Ipswich has allowed 40 goals and they've scored 69. That's a plus 29. That's pretty good. That's mostly from the beginning of the season. Norwich is just a plus 7. And they've been better as of late. They're a little bit of the hotter team here. This is a good game. Tough to handicap. So probably just a no play. You would think we could get some goals maybe in this one. I mean, I can see each team scoring in this game. So can we get a wild affair? Maybe we can. QPR and Bristol. 2 teams who kind of mirror each other a little bit. And this is at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In terms of relative form as of late, I mean, they both have won 2 games out of their last 3 anyway. Queens Park, 3 out of the 4. Bristol is the only one with a loss in both of their last 4 games. They're tied right there at the table, 57 apiece. I think you give the edge to the home team here, maybe QPR. I don't know. Bristol's the better team to me, right? Plus 230 for Bristol. I think you lean there. That's a nice price. If you're going to take a chance, which we're going to have to here at some point if we want to have any kind of bet, but Bristol over 1.5 goals scored is at plus 190. I think I can get on board with that. So let's make that part of our first play of the championship. Bristol away team over 1.5 goals at plus 190. Okay, we'll take it. Then this is a 7:30 a.m. game too, not 10 a.m. Another 7:30 a.m. game, Coventry and Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, it's all Coventry here, right? Give me over 1.5 goals for Coventry. It's not going to pay that great. It's minus 650. I think we just avoid it for the simple fact that we're not getting paid off on it. I don't want to take over 2.5. I mean, Coventry's bound to play down to this opponent. Sheffield Wednesday hasn't been exactly playing the worst. Could this be a 5-0 clobbering? It could be. It could be. So if you want to take a chance on that, over 3.5 is at plus 150 for Coventry. Over 4.5 is at plus 350. We're kind of due for one of those flexing the muscle games by the top team against the bottom team. So I could see it. Where Arsenal doesn't flex their muscles over anyone in the EPL, Coventry at times can whitewash their opponent. Stoke and Blackburn, again, two teams common in the table, as aligned as such. Stoke plus 155, Blackburn plus 175. And as far as inside the table goes, Stoke in 13th, but they've lost 2 out of 3. And then Blackburn, 2 draws and a win in their last 3. They are separated by 7 points. This is a no play. To me, these are 2 bad teams at the end of the day. And I don't think I want anything to do with it at all. So we'll pass on that. Charlton and Preston. Another game I don't think I want anything to do with, to be honest. Preston is someone I will play from time to time. Let's see. As my table wants to, please stop table. All right, let me reload it one time. Every time I scroll down, it wants to scroll back up. All right, here we go. Preston, I mean, this is as inconsistent as it gets. Draw, win, loss in their last 5. Charlton, draw, draw, win. What if any of that makes you want to scream to either side? Neither. In fact, I can't believe Charlton's actually the heavy favorite here over Preston. By that reason alone, do we take a shot on Preston over 1.5 goals? Let's see here. The Preston, as bad as abysmal as they've been, they've scored 48 goals in 41 games. That's not very reassuring to get 2 goals. Let's be honest. Charlton, they've allowed 49 in 41 games. Charleston averages less than 1 goal a game. The under sounds like the play in this game, to be honest. So we'll pass on that. Sheffield United against Hull. Give me Hull. Sheffield United has been terrible. Hull's been one of the better teams. Hull is plus 320. How? How is that even possible here? Let's take them for at least over 1.5 goals. Sheffield United is not as good as people think that they are. I heard someone say that they were much better than Swansea and that they would kill Swansea. That was a 3-3 game. But we're getting plus 215 on Hull to score twice, which they can score. And if we pair that with Bristol, now we're getting 8-1 for these 2 teams. Now we're cooking. I like this bet. All right. I think we only need to find one more to have a really good payout here. And we don't have to worry about trying to get 4 teams, 5 teams to get to 2 goals. We just worry about these 3. Hull and Bristol City to play so far. We'll take Hull over 1.5 goals at plus 215. I like them on the outright number, to be honest, at plus 320. Oxford and Watford. Oxford is your slight favorite, plus 135. Watford plus 190. Again, let's just kind of look at the let's take a look at it. Oxford is down in relegation. They can't score. They give up goals. They've won 5 games ago, So that's nothing to write home about. Watford is 10th in the table, but they're in poor form as well. It smells like an under to me. We will pass. Leicester, I can't trust these guys. They're playing Swansea. Is Swansea the team we take? I mean, Swansea gets 2 goals all the time now, I feel like. And they'll have to go to the King Power Stadium. Leicester, they drew out with Sheffield Wednesday last week, so that's not impressive. Swansea to score 2 goals here. We're going to get plus money. So let's see what we get. Plus 180. Wow. We're getting 25-1 if we take Swansea over 1.5, Hull over 1.5, Bristol City over 1.5. I think we just bite the bullet and try that. Because you can't trust Leicester right now. I'll tell you that right now. Middlesbrough and Portsmouth. Portsmouth has been bad. Middlesbrough, this has to be a get-right game. They're minus 210. Oh, man. They've been in poor form. It's just hard to do. I don't know if I can pull the trigger with Middlesbrough, but Portsmouth has been so bad. Maybe we can. Middlesbrough over 2 goals at home is minus 170. I think we just pass on that and let's concentrate on the bigger plays that we have. Southampton and Derby, 10 o'clock. Last game on Saturday in the championship. Southampton's minus 145. Derby plus 380. Derby's been a good team. They really have been. They've been sneaky good. Have they been formed down a little bit here? No, they won 3 out of 4. I mean, that's good. And they can score too. I mean, they're averaging 1.5 a game. So do we take a chance on 2 goals here for Derby at Southampton? Southampton's been scoring too. I mean, they're as hot as it gets. Maybe just the combined over 2.5 here would be the play. Maybe we can get both teams a score. Over 2.5 is at minus 134. So that's kind of a cheap number. If we add that to our previous 3 plays, we're now getting almost 44-1 odds. Southampton and Derby over 2.5. Swansea over 1.5. Hull over 1.5. Bristol City over 1.5. I kind of like this ticket. We're going to get a profit boost of 30% as well. On Sunday, 7 a.m., Birmingham host Wrexham. Both teams have been flailing as of late. The last thing I'm doing is waking up Sunday at 7 o'clock and trying to sweat that soccer game before the Masters. Okay, so best bets in the championship. Bristol City over 1.5. Hull over 1.5. Swansea over 1.5. And Derby, Southampton over 2.5 combined goals. Best plays in the English Premier League. And to update you real quick, 0-0 West Brom and Millwall, 73rd minute. In the English Premier League, West Ham 3, Wolves 0. So, yeah, I told you West Ham could probably get that second goal. They went ahead and added a third. So, 68th minute, the Wolves heading to the championship. West Ham doing themselves a huge favor in terms of trying to stay up here in the Premier League. Best bets in the Premier League. Brighton over 1.5 goals. Aston Villa over 1.5 goals. And we'll do a combined Chelsea and Man City over 2.5 goals. What does this parlay pay with all these guys together? Let's see. Chelsea, Man City over 2.5. I'm gonna play this. We're gonna get a big line here. I think this could happen. Let's see. Let me add all this together. The championship bet picks and the EPL picks. This would be a 7-game parlay. Mix and match as you choose. Maybe play the round robin of 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s. And we're getting plus money on all of our team goals over, right? Except for Newcastle, I think is even money. But even then, they're not minus money, which is great. Yep, plus 100. How about this? $10 wins you $3,277. I mean, let's just get frisky and throw a 50 on there. And let's call this, let's have a great summer, Steve. $50 wins you $16,000. $100 wins you $32,777. That is Bristol over 1.5, Hull over 1.5, Swansea over 1.5, over 2.5 for Southampton Derby, over 2.5 Chelsea and Man City, over 1.5 for Aston Villa, and over 1.5 for Newcastle. And there you go, guys. No comments? All right. That'll do it. Let's get the Spurs fans out here. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. If you want to get these picks, go ahead and hit the replay. YouTube, Deep End Broadcasting Network. Go to the YouTube here in just a few minutes. Hit the replay of the Friday Soccer Paycheck and get all 7 of our picks for this weekend. Nice weather. We're not asking a lot. Let's see if we get our teams to get some goals and get a nice cash. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Be safe.